Mark Hemingray and Mark Lynk, good afternoon. Let's start firstly with the season so far. It started with a good win against Birmingham City.
Yeah, we were very impressed with that performance. We travelled up to Birmingham's training ground, lovely facilities, and the lads did well. We had a good game of football, played well.
You were particularly pleased with how the lads played in various passages of play, weren't you?
Well, we've tried to change it a little bit this season. You know, we want to try and play a little bit more football than we did last year. We brought a few players in who we think can do that style of football, and you know, so far it's working well for us. I'm enjoying watching it.
Mark Lynk, tell us about the recruitment process, because there's a lot more players this time around in the youth team, isn't there?
There is a lot more, yeah. We've had numerous trial games between the old youth team from last year and the new players that's come this year. We've also held trials at the beginning of the season between each other. We've just basically tried to find something that the way we like to play is the passing game. We like to play out from the goalkeeper. So it started with the goalkeeper. Not only has he got to have good hands and, you know, good shot stopper, he's also got to be able to play well on the floor. So we knew what type of person was looking for, and the good thing were that we did actually see lots of those type of players.
Like I said earlier, there is a lot more players than there was last season. How difficult will it be, A, to keep them all happy, and B, as importantly, to give them fair match practice and enough match practice?
It is difficult. Obviously, you've got that many players, all that are a very good standard. So the good thing, what we've tried to do, we've had lots of friendly games, and what we'll try and do is keep that going throughout the season. So the lads, for one reason, they're not getting picked for the competitive games. It might be that they're just coming back from injury, so we can give them 10-15 minutes here and there in the friendlies. The good thing, though, we also have the reserve team. So the players that are really performing well for us, for myself and Mark, we will put their names forward, and hopefully, whether it's with us or with the reserves, they'll be playing plenty of games.
Back onto the matches, Mark Hemingray. The Midlands Youth Cup first game, it's not first round, it's the first game of the league stage. You've had better days.
Yeah, I thought a little bit disappointed on Monday against Notts County. We started off fairly bright, and first 15-20 minutes we're playing a little bit too much football in our own half, which we've talked about and worked on in training. But I thought the lads froze a little bit, but you know, that's all in the learning process. I wouldn't say Notts County there was a vast difference between us and them, and I'm sure we're going to get better as the competition goes on.
Next game, this Friday, Gresley Rovers in the FA Youth Cup. It's a prestigious competition, isn't it, that, for the youth teams around the country?
It is, it's a big competition. It's, you know, it's the FA Cup for the youth players, obviously. And if we can get through this round on Friday, I think we're looking at a game against Lincoln, but obviously we're not looking that far ahead. We've got to get a good performance first of all on Friday, and then if we get the victory to go take us into the next round, brilliant, because once we get through the next couple of rounds, and obviously the big clubs start coming in.
How much does it help these young players playing in front of a crowd?
Well, it's part of the learning process to play in front of a crowd and having a bit of pressure put on you. It's good for them. And it helps create a good atmosphere. I like to see the lads playing in front of a crowd, so if you can get down Friday night, we'd appreciate it. I know the lads do. It's just like supporting the first team. You really should come and support the youth as well, and I know help them develop. You never know, they might be needed one Saturday afternoon, and if they've never ever played in front of a big crowd, it could be very daunting for them. We don't expect to get thousands in, obviously. We're only the youth team, but you know, a couple of hundred, it all adds to the financial help, and it helps in the development of the players playing in front of people.
On to the final questions now. Just to give the supporters an insight into what you're trying to achieve here, tell them a little bit about the youth department. Firstly, what is your youth ethos?
It's a simple fact is we need to recruit players what potentially could go on to impress Paul Cox, the manager, and his coaches, and then hopefully get into the first team. That's our ethos, that's the bottom line. So we're looking for potential first team players, which is not always easy to spot, but we think we've done a good job this year recruiting, and only time will tell.
Mark Lynk, it's early doors in the season, of course, but who are the ones to watch?
Well, it's difficult because we've got a lot of good players. We've got a lot of players. I mean, we'd like to think all our players are very good on the ball, very comfortable. That's what we do from Monday to Friday. We work in training, the style that we want to play. And hopefully they can keep doing that. I wouldn't really like to say any players in particular because they're all really performing well. Obviously that'll be down to Paul Cox and his staff, who they think's good enough. We'll provide him with the players, and then it's obviously up to them to choose who they think's ready.
Messieurs Lynk and Hemingray, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.